Hello and welcome to this edition of the Podium, which is coming to you live from Freetown with me, Asimiba. We start with a quote of the day, which comes from John William Gardner, who was the Secretary of Health, Education and Welfare under President Lyndon Johnson. And it says, great things happen nationally when topmost leadership is guarded and supported from below. Coming up in today's edition of the program, UN Women trains over 70 women entrepreneurs in the country. Freetown City Council starts Operation Pushback to clear major streets of street trading. A governance monitoring group has been set up to monitor government and donor activities in the country. And Hillside organizes its 2018 Education Trade Fair. All these and more, including your messages which you can send to 0883735504. The number again is 0883735504. It's Podium. The number you can send your messages to 0883735504. The Governance Monitoring Group has been formed to monitor government and donor-funded activities to help spread out correct information about governments to the people. The organization also aims to counter what they say is misleading information coming from a cross-section of the public. But the new direction has key development priorities which include education, youth employment, agriculture, energy, health and infrastructure. Well, for more on that, we have in the studio Mohammed B. Kalon. He is the coordinator, Governance Monitoring Group. Welcome to the program, Mohammed Kalon.
Yes, good afternoon to you, the public.
Give us a background to this monitoring group.
The Governance Monitoring Group has been set up, just like you gave in your prelude, that it has been set up to monitor government and donor-funded projects. It's very clear that every government that comes to office has an agenda, and that agenda is being transcended by individuals that are entrusted with funds, and those funds are meant for service delivery. And when it is entrusted in them, we are expecting that the public is supposed to benefit from those projects. But for far too long, people have built certain perception over those individuals. One, we see when you look at certain individuals, they say because they are government personalities or they are taking projects to those communities. Some people look at them as if they are thieves or they are this. So what we have decided to do is that we are coming here to fill that particular gap in order to be able to monitor those projects that are given, either that are funded either by government or as well as donor partners.
So how would you know that, for instance, a particular project has been honored, has been implemented to its fullest?
Well, that is what we are going to do. We'll make sure that we go there, because if we are monitoring a particular system, we know we are here, we have done our baseline survey, we know exactly some of the projects that have come in. For example, you are talking about the free education right now. We know free education is one of the major projects that we will also be monitoring. Thank God we have BMT here, who is the media representative of the Education, Ministry of Education. That's one of the priority areas for the government. And we know that if any government is to succeed, one of those things that can make the government succeed is the monitoring ability. Because if you do not have that monitoring capacity, or you do not have people monitoring, you find out that service delivery will be very low, will be at a low ebb. So what we do, we make sure that we go to some of these places, we monitor in order to enhance good governance, because the people deserve certain things. The people want to get, there is a high level of public, public is expecting a lot of things to be done. And if these donors come with their money, and then government spends money on some of these projects, they are expecting that what these things are meant for, they are supposed to get their intended response. So,
but do you also realize that some of these donor-funded projects only happen on paper? Sometimes the donor will say they are going to give $30 million. Maybe 2/3 of that money is going to be fed on the expatriates. Maybe only 1/3 is going directly to the implementation of the projects. So who do you blame for that? The government or those who had given the money?
Well, every project has its target and the manner in which it's implemented. So we will make sure that we know exactly how this project is intended to be implemented, because when we know the manner in which the project is intended to be implemented, it is against that backdrop that we'll do our monitoring. we'll know whether 50% is going to the public or 100% is going for the public. Then we try to know exactly whether those services are being delivered to the people themselves. It is against that background that we'll know. So to say whether the donor is giving part of it or is on paper, all what we want to know, as long as we have got tangible evidence that this particular percentage is going down to the people, because we are going to serve as a liaison between the government as well as the people. We go down there, we try to know whether these services that are meant to be delivered to the people, whether they are being delivered. These projects that are meant to be delivered, how are they delivered? You know that we want to know.
We have hundreds of government projects all over the country. Do you have the manpower to monitor all these projects?
Well, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. We are starting with Western area. We have the potential to go nationwide. That is why we are spreading our attention.
And the Western, which specific project? Because I mean, when you talk about projects, you have those that deal with education, those that deal with energy, those that deal with health. So many projects all over the place.
Yes, there are a lot of projects. Government has its priority areas. We know. Its priority area is on education, it has tourism, it also have agriculture. These are energy, these are all areas. We've already started. We've started monitoring the aspect of energy. You see, communities may call us, they tell us, oh yes, you guys, you need to come. In the eastern part, we have monitored quite a long time. We've gone, many times we've gone to see the Minister of Energy to inform him about how people are feeling about these services that are delivered. Also, I am sure that we are trying to make an agreement to see the Minister of Education so that he too can give us the blessing. We will also try to go to the Minister of Tourism. Of course, we have approached her and we have spoken with her lengthily, and I'm sure they are all ready. We will come in to see how best to monitor these things, because monitoring is a key aspect of good governance. Because when you monitor, the more you monitor, it can even improve the performance and the output of an institution.
Here is Mohammed B. Kalon, the National Coordinator of Governance Monitoring Group. The program is Podium, reaching you from Freetown with me, Asmiuba. UN Women has organized training for 72 young women entrepreneurs in the Western area. The training aimed at strengthening the resilience and self-reliance of young women entrepreneurs. Well, UN Women is poised to see women taking the lead when it comes to entrepreneurship in the country. Well, as young entrepreneurs, they need to have business strength, knowledge, also improve their ability. Well, in the studio is David Lahai, who is the Partnerships and Coordinator and Coordination Specialist of UN Women. Welcome to the program, Mr. Lahai.
Good morning, Asmi. Good afternoon, Asmi, and good afternoon to our viewers.
Okay, how did you come to select the women that you trained?
Okay, we have the very competitive approach we introduced, wherein following the award of the grants from the Republic of Korea, we had to have preliminary meetings with the line ministries and kind of agreed on the framework. So that resulted into actually going out to, first of all, advertise the program on the various media outlets, and also we had to put this information out through the ministries and different platforms, because we had normally our mailing platforms. It's interesting to know, even when we did that, we couldn't get the desired result. The applications we had just filtering in, until we got back to the drawing room. Then something was put on paper, we sent via social media. That really impressed me, the power of social media. So the thing really went viral. The advert, the call for proposals, the expression of interest. So very simple templates were sent out, wherein people can send in the useful information, expressing an interest to receive the grant. So it was competitive. We sent out.
So what were the criteria?
Okay, we are dealing with young women. So entrepreneurs applying. It could be sole proprietorship. It could also be a group. It could be a company. But the focus must be that young women are in the majority who will be benefiting, or an enterprise also must be, if you are a sole proprietor, you must be a young woman within the youth age bracket of 15 to 35. So we also looked at the location of the business. Interestingly, it was Western area, urban and rural, for this phase of the project. And we are also looking at how you can demonstrate that this project will be viable within the sectors that we are outlined. So we are looking at the entertainment industry, we are looking at hospitality, we are looking at tourism, we are looking at renewable energy, we are looking at ICT and WASH.
So I mean, those who came forward, what was your impression? Did they meet the expectation of you and women?
So far, so good. With the help of consultants, we are able to actually go through some due diligence, which included, first and foremost, doing desk appraisals of those applications that came in, and we also had to go to the field and do the field appraisals, ensure that those who are coming forward, their needs were met, so we are able to have the background of the potential trainees. So the trainees were tailor-made using a methodology that can fit the different categories, because we had people in the room and education was not a prerequisite in terms of your level of education. Fortunately, most of them who went for the training could read or write, or can read and write. So we had to make sure that they were tailor-made to suit everybody. We had some mix of those who were moderately literate and those who were really educated people. And it was participatory using adult learning techniques. And most of them actually doing the appraisals expressed the desire to learn certain key modules. So this is the method we used to...
And which modules did you teach them?
So we are looking at business planning, we are looking at entrepreneurship, we are looking at record keeping, the value chain process, etc. And
had they attended any training before, or this was the first time they had been trained formally?
I would say some of them have attended. I mean, the one that is actually related to the business, the businesses they are doing. Some of them could have gone to trainings in other areas, but this was something really tailor-made that is some kind of real-time skills you are going to acquire that will help you enhance your business. So most of them found the training very, very much invaluable, which they said is going to further boost their capacity.
He is David Lahai. The program is Podium, coming to you from Freetown. Be with us by sending your message to number 08373504. For decades now, the standard of education in Sierra Leone has dwindled, which in turn has affected the country's capacity. Well, the standard has fallen in such a way that many a time people say university graduates cannot even read or write basic English. Well, the system is appalling and needs urgent reforms, according to many educationists. Well, it's alone in collaboration with the Education Microscope newspaper. On August 20th, we'll host the third edition of the Education Trade Fair at the Miata Conference Lobby Brookfield on the theme, the importance of free quality education to national development. Well, the trade fair will run for a month and will end on the 28th of September. Well, the trade fair will help popularize the benefits and coverage of free quality education scheme in Sierra Leone. Well, in the studio is Joseph Sano, who is the director of Salon and Brahma Michael Toure from the Ministry of Education. Let me start with you, Joseph Sano. This is the second or the third time you are having this education fair? The fourth time. Okay. The previous ones you had, how did they go? How did they end?
Well, if by rating, I think it was good. And the first one was fair, the second one was good, and the third one was good. And why am I saying this? Because the first thing is that we had a proposal and we stated a timeline to implement it. We stated expected outcomes, we stated our objectives. So, and we went by our objectives, and it was good. And we achieved all of the objectives except but few. One is we were not able to get tailors there because they will grumble that, oh, uniforms are sold in the school. Second is we were not able to get let's say the shoe people that sell shoe. So those are the things that were difficulty. But for books and playground, for it to be a platform for education, it was very good. So for us it was good, but this year's own will be greater than the past. Because
let us look at the academic aspect of it. So let's focus a bit on that, the issue of parents taking their kids there, showing them textbooks that maybe they've not read, they've not seen before, taking them around, letting them know the importance of certain subjects and what have you. How is that aspect of the fair?
And that aspect is one of the aspects that was very, very interesting and is functioning well. Because last year, I alone, our organization bought over 17 million worth of books, and I think that we distributed out. It was part of our activities. I think that alone, because we are not selling the books, we invited the Sierra Leone Booksellers Association, and these people have been out of business because the schools have now been turned into marketplaces. When I were going to school in CKC, we buy our books at the bookshops, but now everything you do, you buy it at the school. And I tell you one important thing: the cost of our books, parents themselves testify that when they buy books at the trade fair for 30,000, when they go to the school, the same books are sold for 90,000. No wonder now we see why. If you go, let's say your child succeed in the MPSC, goes for JSS 1, he or she will be charged 1.5. So the school fees is now up to 200,000. Uniform is now up to 300,000. So okay, worst case scenario, let's say 500,000. So the books are going for 1 million. Come on, it's not realistic. So we are there. One of our key objectives, the reason why we started this trade fair, is that students go to school after long vacation without having a single textbook. Parents refuse to send their kids to school because they don't have money for textbook and other things. They can afford the school fees, maybe first time. If it is 35,000, it was 35. But they can't afford the 900 or 1 million or 1.5 to pay for.
Well, Joseph, under the free education, government is going to provide textbooks for 4 core subjects.
Yeah, and that is the good thing about it. That is why there are 4 core text subjects, but the president say optional subjects should be, parents should come in and buy it. You have to buy bag, you have to buy the uniform, you have to buy the shoe. So these are things we are saying that we should not go and get in schools because maybe they will be high. We want to have it there. We want so that at least even the least income earner will be able to purchase those things so that the children will go to school. We don't want money to stop children from going to school. And I tell you, one great objective of this year trade fair is that we want to ensure that we popularize the content, the target group, the coverage of the free quality education. We want, the president is saying, I'm going to make sure I pay tuition. The president is saying, no admission fee. The president is saying, I am going to give you 4 core textbooks. The president is also saying, I am going to ensure that 4 core textbooks, and I think there's another thing. There's one other thing. It's just the president has
BMT will help you. Don't worry about that.
The president has stated 4 core things that he said he's going to do. Now, the question is teaching and learning material. The president said we are providing them. So if the president is providing these things, and there will be school feeding program attached to this, so we are saying we are going to popularize it. Not everybody really know what is inside the free quality.
So how are you going to popularize it during the fair? Do you have people who,
as I'm talking now, we have people.
My kid or my wife, someone will just stop me.
Firstly,
this is what the fair.
There is a booth there. As I'm speaking to you, we have Lincoln Queen there. We have I Am Tech there. And it's by Kroma University, God Bulls, Ministry of Education. They have their own booths there. And in fact, what we've done, we have branded the entire place. When you enter the trade fair, the first thing you see is the picture of President Bill, and he said, the first is my free quality education package will contain. We place it when he said tuition. You show there's a drawing to show money. So if you never went to school, you know. He said core textbooks. There's a drawing to show the core textbook. He said. He said he's going to pay teaching and learning material. There's something. Everything he highlighted, we've placed it there. And then below it, for any inquiry and complaint, call 4060. So what we've done, not only that, we've ensured that all questions and answers, I'm part of the committee that wrote the question and answers. So all questions and answers that are expected there, when you go to each booth, they are by the booths. We made a banner and ready-made banner, and we attach those questions to it. Where should you complain? What should you do? What the steps you should do? So ideally is an educational fair.
Okay, well, let me bring in, he's Joseph, so let me bring in Brian Michael Toye from the Ministry of Education. From the ministry's point of view, how do you welcome a fair like this, an education fair?
Well, we are actually for the first time in partnership with Joseph Sano, Hill Sierra Leone, as part of our broader approach to sensitizing the entire populace around the country as to what this free quality education is all going to be about, so that people understand exactly what the expectations would be, what they are supposed to do around the free education. And so we're partnering with them.
The ministry in the past had a strained relationship with Hill Salon.
Yes, we did, but thank God now that we're moving forward, and that we need all partners on board. We need everybody, especially now that we're running a very ambitious program that requires every muscle around to actually propel it. And so we're excited that now we have a spot where we can actually let people understand the details of the free quality education. Some were not privileged to be in the hall on that day. Some were not privileged to watch the program on television or listen to it on radio. And so now we have an opportunity, one whole month there at the Miata Conference Hall. You can come any day and just ask the questions that you want to ask, so that you would understand more and more what this free quality education is all about. And above and beyond, what is also very important that heads of schools should know is that this time around, even though school uniforms have not been included in the package, but we are also, as a ministry, taking the proactive step to regulate how much these items are sold. And we have said the school should not be a bacha. It's not a marketplace. And so for all heads of schools who have interest in selling anything, you now have an opportunity to come to Miata Conference Hall and get a booth.
So I say it's illegal, for example, if you have a kid who has promoted to JSS1, the kid goes for interview and the school administration tells the parent that he should buy the uniform from the school, because that is what is happening now. Parents are being told to buy school uniforms in the school.
So as we just had a meeting with Conference of Principals of Secondary Schools last week, and the terms are very clear. The school is not a marketplace. Do not sell anything in the school. If for any reason, as head of school or a teacher, you're interested in selling something, sell it outside the school environment. No problem. You can tell parents to go out there in a shop or somewhere and buy. And so, but now they have this opportunity. There's this trade fair, and it's primarily education trade fair, where you would have all items that would be needed by a child to go to school. So now it is easy. Just go to Miata Conference Hall and buy these things, or bring them there and let your school pupils and their parents know that your school items are available at Miata Conference Hall at so booth. Go there and purchase
Are
them.
the private schools under this kind of regulation?
The regulation for
school authorities not to sell school uniforms, school materials.
So with private,
because it seems as if many a time some of these regulations only affect government schools. Private schools are almost exempted.
So with private schools, like I said the last time, and that is the reason why we're pushing for the Education Act of 2004 to be looked at and reviewed, because more or less it is open that the minister has the authority to regulate the activities of private school when he thinks, in his own opinion, what they are charging is exorbitant. So I'm just paraphrasing what is there. So more or less it's at the discretion of the minister, and that should not be the case, because at what point would the minister think it is unreasonable for a school to charge a particular price? Is
that difficult for a minister to know that certain charges are unreasonable?
Well, as
the minister is Sierra Leone and he lives in Sierra Leone.
It is risky to
knows his
no, but
it is
risky for a law to have something like a disclaimer there that it has to be upon someone's reasonability. You know, it's risky.
Well, sure
let it be clearly defined.
The framers of that law wanted whoever the minister is to think of the larger population. Majority of the people are poor.
You see, so you cannot assume
something that should be in the interest of the public, not in the interest of you.
Anything that has to do with the law, you cannot assume, because at the end of the day, it is what it is contained in that book that is going to be quoted in the court of law, not what you assume. So that's the reason why it has to be very clearly stated that if you do this, this is the penalty. But if it has to be at the minister's discretion, more or less, where he thinks it's unreasonable, well, at what point would he think it's unreasonable? Because the reason why I'm saying this, the National Board of Education a few years ago, 2 years ago or so, went around this country to all private schools and look at what they have. And they came with recommendations stating that this school should not charge this, this should not do this, this is what their fees should be limited to. And after that, the whole thing died a natural death, more or less. Nothing happened. So, but if it had been spelled out very clearly, that if a school has this and this and this, they should not charge this, and it's clearly spelled out, then we all know that when I go there with my kid, I know the limits of what any head of school in that private school should ask me to pay. So, but that's the situation.
So, BMT, this issue of admission fees is only applicable to government schools, right?
Government and government.
So those in the private schools can ask for admission fees.
So that's where it comes in. The minister again has the discretion to determine what amount should constitute admission fees. See, so everything is centered on this one person, and so that's why we need to look at that very clearly, that act, because let it somehow provide an opportunity for the minister to go beyond just reasonability.
Well, what did the former minister do to push for the amendment of that act?
Well, to my knowledge, 5 years that I was there, I have not seen any attempt to actually do anything to that. I'm hoping that this time around something could be done, because we have to look at that book again, that act again, and actually do something with it. There are certain things that we need to regulate, especially now if we want the free quality education to succeed, because otherwise there are things there that would become a clear disclaimer for most institutions. They will say, no, that's not what the act said. And so we have to look at that.
Okay, here is Brian and Michael. The program is a Podium coming to you from Freetown. Send your message to study number 0883733504. Mohamed Kalwa, how would you ensure that what you observe in the field, for instance, is free of embellishments? Because this is Sierra Leone. Many times people are good at embellishing certain things. They go to certain places, what they observe and what they write are poles apart.
Yes, it's very clear from your introduction. You see, the people out there are expecting much from their governments, and governments come to power as a result of what they put in their manifesto, and when they come, they implement an agenda. And these governments tell the people that this is what we are offering to you, and the people are expecting those things to be done. And these governments in turn entrust some of those monies into projects, and those projects are being manned by individuals. Those individuals are expected to perform beyond to our expectation, because when they perform, what they expect, what the public expects, goes to them. Now, when we go to these places, we make sure that we monitor, and when we monitor, what we'll do, we'll make sure that we provide periodical reports. We make sure that initially we present the reports to the institution that we have monitored, and after that we take also the report to another level.
Which level is that? Well,
the level can be the secondary level. It can be any individual. It's the donor that will be giving these things, because we expect that action should be taken. And let me tell you this one, this is a grassroots monitoring system. Now, apart from the monitoring itself, because let us come to the area of information. We know very well that most of the time when governments say we are doing such and such and such, and that some of this information do not filter down well to the people out there, even though the media tries a lot to make sure that they educate the people about what government is doing. But we have come as a grassroots monitoring group, making sure that we go right down there to the grassroots. We ensure that what government has done has been interpreted. We make sure that the people know about it. We do that one in all the foreign languages, in all the local languages per se. We make sure that they know about what government has done and what are some of the challenges. And we'll not just stop there. We also pick up what's the concern of the people.
Are you not taking more than what you can chew?
No, we are not taking more than what we can chew. We have a baseline. We have what we operate on. We have our modus operandi, and then we are going to make sure that we limit it. We are going to take exactly what we know we have to do. Finally, when we come to the area of, we know for sure that today the social media has gone very viral. There are a lot of ill-motivated Sierra Leoneans who pass on information, fake, unfounded informations. Yeah? In fact, at certain times they try even to smear the character of certain individuals. We will ensure that when those informations come, we will go to the right information. We make sure that we get the correct information.
Many times this
those
information, that
individuals.
kind of information is sent by political activists, people who are politically charged.
Well, if it's coming from a political angle, we look at it in another way, because we make sure that.
But do you disagree with me?
No, I will not disagree, definitely, because sometimes they are coming from political activists. Sometimes they can even come from ill-motivated Sierra Leoneans. What we will do, we will make sure that if such informations come, we will make sure that the correct information, we go there, we get the correct information from either that individual or from the ministry or from the department or from the agency. We make sure that we
Is that not the business of the Ministry of Information?
Yes, indeed, it's the business of the Ministry of Information. That is why when you look at this organization, we have a synergy between ourselves and the Ministry of Information. We will be having some exchange, because the Ministry of Information gets the information. What we do, because you cannot spread information without you getting the correct information, we will make sure that we go to the Ministry of Information, we collaborate with them, but our collaboration has to be highly professional. It has to be professional, so that we are not seen as if we are a government agency. We make sure that whatever information that we are spreading down there to the people, that information has what? It has to be credible, it has to be factual, and it has to be balanced.
Okay. Here's Mohammed Bikalo, National Coordinator, Governance Monitoring Group. We are going for a short break. After the break, we are back. We are back with the program Podium, which is coming to you from Freetown with me, Asmiba. Well, shortly we shall read the first batch of text messages. But before, let me go to David. Apart from training these women, what about empowering them more in terms of financial aid, for instance? Because that's what many of them lack.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, the program itself is a comprehensive package. Perhaps what I need to bring out now is to just give quick overview of the project. Okay, so the project is entitled Strengthening the Resilience and Self-Reliance of Young Women in the Western Area. So we're looking at the Western Area. What this is looking at is that we believe if young women are economically empowered, if they have the resources, if they have the opportunities to actually generate their own income, to have the employability or jobs are created for them, this will help mitigate most of the socio-economic pitfalls women find themselves as we talk about ending violence against women and girls. So this is a package, as I said, is comprehensive, that is looking at first providing investment grants to them, but we can't just give monies out, whether we're going to give them these monies into their account or going to assist with procurement of some of their products, without first ensuring that they actually know the operational framework of this project. So this is why we are bringing them to the room, training them, ensuring that these grants are to be utilized for the intended purpose. Okay.
So how would you do the monitoring, the post-training?
Fine. So it's a whole trajectory. We're taking them along that line. Wherein from this training, we are also helping them put together a business plan. They are putting together a very user-friendly business plan. I mean, taking into cognizance their own levels of literacy. So we bring in that business plan. We are also ensuring that we set the baseline. After setting that baseline, we have to do onward monitoring, ensuring that for each tranche they release to purchase or invest in their business, we actually see that the monies are used as planned. And over time, we have a midterm review. We'll have to bring them together again. After the midterm review, we'll have a refresher training for them, just to ensure that, I mean, there's a win-win situation in the sense that the donors can see value for their money. The women also can use that money to empower themselves, and as well as ensure that they reach out.
How much donor money are we talking about here?
So it will vary. At the moment, we haven't set any specific.
Well, I mean, the grants you receive from
or the Korea for this space is about $200,000. So it's broad, and one of the important elements of this project is to ensure that there's a ripple effect of what we are supporting, in the sense that if we provide this grant to this company, we must be able to demonstrate how this will create jobs or opportunities for other youth. But I mean, I must say that our focus is on young women. So we must ensure that more young women are employed, more young women have access to resources, either as service providers, or they can be retailers, or they actually have something to do.
Let's go for a few text messages. One says the guy called MB Kalon is a teacher at St. Helena but has been neglecting his duties. All he cares about is to be supporting SLP activities as a result of his quest to be a presentation. So one says, how can the free education be a success when teachers like MB Kalon, who should be in classroom to teach, focus on politics when he is being paid to teach? This one says, UN Women has been doing well for women in the country, and I think the training is in place to improve the skills of entrepreneurs. The way people are portraying the free education is like parents have no responsibility to their kids. Parents are always having problem to own their responsibilities to their kids. They are always proud to fund other activities. And before I come to Sano, do you want to respond to those two messages?
Yes.
So someone who knows you, maybe, I don't know.
Of course, let me just respond to those two messages. I have not in any way obstructed my duty as a teacher.
So are you a teacher?
Of course, I am a teacher, and that has not in any way been, I have not hampered my activities in any way. When you go to my school, you will know exactly that I am a very diligent teacher.
So how would you manage? How would you manage your teaching profession with this new initiative?
Of course, I have been able to manage it over the years. I have been operating as a civil activist. I have been operating as a community activist. That has not hampered my duty as a teacher at all. I'm a serving teacher. I have taught for 12 good years at my school, and when you go there, you will see the hallmarks of MB Kalon. I know these are some of the things that comes up. You know, when somebody takes up a national service, these are some of the things that come up. They want to see how best they can hamper your progress. But let me tell you this one: I have not in any way worked for anybody else to say I want to become a press attaché or whatever. No. If government deems it necessary, they called me up for that. I am there to serve. But that is why, when you look at the holiday lessons, I did not go for the holiday lessons because I know I have another national service to offer. And this one calls for a service. It's a national service that I'm doing. We want to make sure that we monitor what government is doing. Because the people out there, they want to know exactly what government is doing. And if the people want to know what government is doing, we will tell them what government is doing. And when they know what government is doing, that will save that perception that people are building about government officials. Sometimes they say, when you see a government official, you just see them pass with a vehicle, then you say, oh, this lady eats government money. No, that's a very negative perception. We want to ensure that whatever thing government does, we'll make sure that the people know. Okay. And what the people also want, we'll make sure that government knows about it.
Here's MB Kalon. Joseph, what is it for university students in the education field? Or is it only for secondary, primary?
I think I've just got the call from Anders Baikroma University. Are coming. You just telling me about what I want. So it means they will be coming with all their stuff. As I'm talking to you, Lincoln Queen is there. You go there. The student need to know their entering requirements. They need to know the courses you are offering. And besides that, it is just in this country that people will just get up one day and they decide what courses they want to go and study. Out of this country, you'll be cancelled. You'll be asked. Your result will be watched.
But the university does not have that department. I remember the time we went to Frambe College some 15 years ago. As year one student, we only chose modules. Nobody cancelled you. Nobody tells you.
That should be part of the university.
So are they doing it in this fair?
Definitely, that's right. In fact, today Lincoln Queen started it. I'm seeing I Am Tech also doing. We've talked to the PR of University of Sierra Leone, and although they have not been coming, me and BMT were just talking. They should be there because it's like a book. It's like an open day. So because they are offering, they have 3 colleges. They are offering so many courses. People need to know what is happening there, and they need to help with career guidance. And besides that, there are so many other things that should be brought out about the university. Entering requirements, the courses you are offering, and a lot of things. You know, the university is the place where people, when you enter there, you come out as a refined a human being that comes to transform the nation. So that is why we are happy for the other universities that have come, that are there now. But not again, we are saying we still have places for people that want to come. You can either call 077-080808. But mind you, we are not there to sell tramadol. Let me make it publicly. We are not there to sell hard liquors. We are not there to sell marijuana. I know there's something I always say. If we were doing, let's say, a beach fiesta, you will see big guys coming there with their jeep. If we are doing, let's say, beauty pageant, there will be somebody that will say, because now we have inter-university competition and inter-secondary school quiz competition. 10 days will be public education. Every department there will do public education about what they are doing, and then they will give us 50 questions from each of their booths, and they will put it in the question bank. Then we'll get mathematics and English question. Those will be in the question. So we'll be asking questions. If it was beauty pageant, somebody will come, an institution will come and say, okay, I will give the winner a car. I'll give the owner 10 million. But when it is something that the students are going to spend for, it is an academic something, people will not support. And if you
are you not having support?
No. For support, I want to thank God for the Ministry of Education, and I also my traditional sponsor.
They are now your friends.
They are my friend. It's just that they are my friend, and I won't leave here without thanking SLRSA. Mr. Panda, and the PRO of SRSA, and the teaching service
I think
commission.
You need to make a public notice.
And luckily, I want to also tell the public that we'll be having the the National Civil Registration Authority there, you know, they will be having, they will be displaying the registration they did. Okay. So they will be there to do that. So they are all on board supporting this trade.
Okay, and BMT, something important here. When Joseph Sano mentioned about Lim Kokwin, last week there was a newspaper story that claimed that government will stop paying for students of Lim Kokwin. Those who are, I think, according to the story, 75% of students from that university are benefiting from government grants in aid, and that is going to be stopped.
So it has not been made very clear yet as to whether or not I am the one who would be doing public relations stuff for the Ministry of Higher and Technical Education. So it would be very difficult for me to comment on that. So until that is clarified, I would be very careful to make mention of anything that has to do with that ministry. Okay. So yes. Okay. I saw that paper too, I read it, but be that as it may, I know what I know, but it is not for me to sit here and say anything on behalf of that, so I'm sorry.
And admissions are now have begun in schools. Has government drawn, because every year normally government draws a particular number saying this is the government's number for students, for pupils to be admitted into junior secondary school. What is government's mark?
So we call it a placement meeting that we usually have with the heads of schools. We have not had that yet. So the results are still being collated. And so we would have to call them, all the heads of schools, and then sit with them like we do every year. Say, for example, Annuals, for example, would probably have a capacity for only, say, 500, for example. But then you would have 1,000 and more pupils actually putting in for annuals. And so we would have to now sit and then do the mathematics and say, okay, you should take from this point going up so that you would have the 500 that you actually need as your capacity. So that's how we usually do that. But at the end of the day, as a ministry, we make sure we place every child into a school based on what you have and what we have.
What is the pass mark for NPSC? A mark that would help a candidate gains entry into secondary school?
Well, it's 230. That's the official mark that you should have. Okay. 230. If you have that going up, anything from 230, that's pass. Okay. You can get to a junior secondary school with that.
But not all schools allow that.
Not all schools. That's what I'm saying. So you have schools that would tell you, no, we can't take anything above this mark because we only have this capacity. Okay. And so that's the reason why we actually agree with them and say, okay, take it from this point, then you would have your 1,000 pupils if that's what your capacity is. Okay.
So how are preparations now for the opening of schools? Is it the 17th or the
17th? It's around the corner, and so I would say the tempo,
almost a fortnight from now. The
tempo is high, and we are watching everything. We're looking at everything. We're taking every information into consideration, and we are actually clamping down on heads of schools who would want to flout the rules, because this time we've said don't sell anything in the schools. Before I came, I saw something. A list of school items that we have in principle agreed between the ministry and the conference of principals. Once it is approved today from their end, then we would have that displayed in every school, so when a parent comes to the school, they know exactly what to pay for whatever, in terms of the uniform materials and all of that. But we have said don't sell in the school.
What about the books? Have governments printed the books already, the core text books that are going to be given to pupils for free?
So we had a meeting with all the book writers in this country, well, the majority of them, and minister gave them the mandate to select from within all of the books that they have written, select those that they think would be very appropriate for our schools. So they would now do that selection, and then it's all about the procurement. There would be slight delays because of the procurement process. We don't want to flout those procurement rules, and so we're negotiating behind the scenes actually for waivers and all of that. But the books would not be ready like on the 17th of September, but they will be ready very soon as all of the procurement thing is taken care of.
Okay. David, as we are rounding up now, are you going to do further trainings for future entrepreneurs, or is it one-off program?
Okay, so we need to get this off the ground. As mentioned earlier, this is a comprehensive package that includes the grants, what we call business capital, the business capital which will be given to the successful entrepreneurs. And then we have to train which we have just done. They were trained in 2 batches. First batch of about 35 and the second batch of about 32. We have done that as well. So we are now going to fast track the transfer of these grants and then formally launch the project and take it from there. From that moment, we now have the vehicle ready to see how much miles we can cover and how many people can actually prove us right that yes, young women in Sierra Leone are ready, especially Western area, are ready. They have the innovations to ensure that we all contribute to the local economy through this investment grant at small and medium enterprises. So once that is done and we are able to showcase the success of this grant, we are pretty sure we can continue into other phases.
Well, let's go for the final text message. It says the 4 textbooks that government will be giving, are they going to be taken home or at the school? Sano, are you the only one working for Hill Salon? So Sano, for me, what the fair should focus on is to educate parents on the package, as the whole package has been misconstrued as people want everything free. The education trade fair should be rotated by regions. It should not be Freetown based. Apart from the training, do you support these women with loans? Access to loans by women is a challenge. Where they trained on that. This MB Calon guy should go to the classroom back or resign. This one said this so-called governance organization is a money-making entity. I will come to it straight away. MB Calon.
Okay. We
don't have much time, man.
Definitely, I know this information, where I know the root of some of this information, but let me tell you that I have been somebody very active in the social media and as well as all of the other mediums, and then definitely you guys, the field day is over now for you, because we are coming in. It's not business as usual, because we are going to make sure that whatever misconception or information that you spread on the social media or on the traditional media that is erroneous, we'll make sure that we correct some of those things. Because
how would you also ensure that you don't embellish the information?
We will not embellish it, because what we ensure that we correct information. Yes, we will not embellish it, because that is why whatever thing we are doing, we'll make sure that we alert the institution we are monitoring. Thank God I am a teacher and I know exactly. That tells you. It is only in Sierra Leone that you see somebody having just one a single job. But when you go all over the world, you see, yes, people can have the people can have other skills and people can
so MBK, is it going to be a monologue or a dialogue like
this is going to be a dialogue. It's going to be mobilized. We make sure that we bring people on board.
And who is supporting you? You need money to undertake.
Yes, of course. We will need funding.
So where is your funding coming from?
Of course, we are developing a project, and this project will be sold out. Whoever wills can sponsor the program, and when the program starts, we have an office space already at 24 Sackville Street. So this is not a money-making thing, because somebody who knows MB Calon knows exactly that I've stood for my country, and I'm always ready to push the agenda.
Thank you very much, Jason. In just 5 seconds, we don't have
okay, of course, I'm not the only one in Hills Rally. When I was doing the TV teaching program, was I the only one doing it? Yesterday, when I was on AYV, I was not the only one. I'm not even the one producing my newspaper. I don't know. They just give me the headlines, then I decide what to do. So please forget about that. But I am the face of Hills Rally, and okay. The other thing is the fear will be rotated when we have funding. And lastly, somebody was talking about if you go to the fair, you will see the roles of parents. That president said, you will see the roles of everybody.
BMC, just 5 seconds.
The 4 textbooks, yes, we have not concluded that, but apparently at some point they will be taken home, only that they should be taken care of, because if your brother or sister is going to go to JSS1, for example, next year, and you're in JSS1 this year, they could use them next year, easily and simple. So you see, so if you take proper care of them, it will be savings for both your parents and the government.
Okay, David, you want to clarify in just 5 seconds?
Yes. So just from the person who sent the last text, this is a grant, not necessarily we are giving them out at but we are going to
thank you very much. Well, that's how we end the podium. My guests have been David Lahai, MB Calon, Joseph Sano, and Brian and Mike. On behalf of all of us and the production team, especially my producer Sam Wataba, I will also see you tomorrow.